Time and again, I long for adventure, something to make my heart beat the faster. What did I long for? I never really knew. Finding your love, I found my adventure. Touching your hand, my heart beats the faster. All that I want in all of this world is you. You are the promise, kiss of springtime that makes a lonely winter seem long. You are the breathless hush of evening that trembles on the brink of a lovely song. You are the angel glow that lights a star. The dearest things I know are what you are. Someday my happy arms will hold you, and someday I'll know that moment divine when all the things, when all the things, when all the things, how many all the things, lots of all the things, all the things, oh,
you know they can see you. Oh. I'm just telling you.
No, we all know. Get sweet too, I'm gonna knock things over.
That's what we look like when we hear ourselves singing live. This is featuring Michelle Nicolle and Larry Coons at Kulak's Woodshed last year. Of springtime that makes the lonely winter seem long. You are the breathless hush of evening that trembles on the brink of a lovely song. You are the angel glow that lights a star. The dearest things I know are what arms will hold you. And someday I'll know that moment divine, when all the things you are, when all the things you are, when all the things you are Larry Coons, everybody.
This is how to get.
Yeah, gosh
getting shape fast.
darn YouTube. Okay, stop share.
I want to know how to get in shape fast. That was going to tell me.
I know, but the thing is, you have to watch it for at least a half hour to actually get to the
To
good
get in
part.
shape, or
No, just to get to the good part. Hi, everybody.
g'day.
So, let's see. I thought, well, actually, to tell you the honest truth, Gary, my husband, actually made the suggestion that I interview Michelle this week because she's here from Australia.
I think he just didn't want me hanging in the kitchen any longer.
Maybe.
He just said, "Can you get her out of hanging around, making cups of tea in the kitchen?" Yeah,
It could happen, actually.
yeah.
But anyway, it was a good suggestion.
Yeah.
And so Michelle's here for 2 weeks, and Monday I have to remember the dates. Monday the 24th
24.
evening, Michelle is giving a workshop, a vocal workshop here at my studio in Granada Hills, and I call it my studio.
Yeah, fair enough.
And anyway, she's a great teacher. She's a great singer, great person, great teacher. If you are listening and you're interested in that, you should come. And I will say this again and again, and all you have to do is email me, message me on Facebook or YouTube, but I'll put all that in the information. Then, almost a week later, Sunday, the 30th, March 30th, she and Larry Coons, who you just saw, are going to be doing a CD release party. Mm-hmm. They just released the CD.
I like how you call them that here. CD release party. We call them city launches.
Oh,
Like
that
a
sounds
launching of
more
a ship.
important.
Sounds more important, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I like both. I like the party. Yeah.
CD launching.
Launch. Yeah, we launch a CD.
Yeah, it's kind
And
of
like a launch, you do a tour, a launch tour.
yeah.
Yeah. So you don't say that here.
No.
Oh,
CD
wow. So
release
I've been
party.
saying we're doing a tour, a launching tour, and people going, what the hell is she talking about? Okay, fair enough. I should just say we're doing a party tour,
Yeah, party tour, no. CD tour.
CD tour.
Maybe something like
Okay,
that.
all
yeah.
right.
CD release tour.
CD release. Okay. Well, it's a mini tour. I'm calling it a mini tour.
Okay. So Michelle Nicolle, where are you going to be in the next 2 weeks?
Well, I tell you, Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, we're going to be in San Francisco at the Black Cat Jazz Club.
Black Cat.
Yeah.
Yes.
In I think it's in the heart of the city, in the Tenderloin.
I'm going
area.
to write this down at least on Facebook while we're talking.
Yeah, so we're playing 3 nights there, and it's like 2 shows a night. So,
Yes.
yeah, with a local bass player called Ari, and I'm going to mess up his surname. So, because I haven't committed it to pronunciation memory.
So the Black Cat in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And Francisco, and that is I should let this one singer I know about that.
So it's Thursday the 20th
20th
to Saturday the 22nd.
March 20th.
Yeah,
21st. Is it 4 days?
it's 3 nights.
So you're not doing it the 20th.
Thursday, yeah. We're playing Thursday night, Friday, and Saturday night.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I might have got that wrong. The 20. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then in San Diego.
San Diego is the following Saturday, the 29th of March, and that is an afternoon, a matinee show.
And that's at Leonard's place, right?
Leonard's place.
Thursday night, Leonard is here singing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I can't go.
Oh.
I forget why.
He's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, how cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and that's the lounge?
The Jazz Lounge Live, it's called. Yeah, in San Diego.
Jazz Lounge. Do they stream?
I don't know.
Does the Black Cat stream, do you know?
I don't know. I don't think so.
And so a workshop, I'm writing all this down, workshop here in LA, Monday evening, the 24th, right? Yeah, the 24th. And a CD launch.
Yes.
Salt launch release at Brunch downtown at O'Lock Restaurant. Yeah. O'Lock Restaurant. And yeah. Okay. So I think that's good. And Frederic Loiseau is saying hello. He is a really great guitarist from Paris.
Oh, good day.
And he just made a record with Meredith D'Ambrosio.
Ah.
It was a duo record, wasn't it? Frederick. And also Sean Potts says hello, and he is coming to the workshop. Potts says hello. Potts. Just, bringing up all my
Windows.
stuff. Yes. And sorry about all this, ladies and gentlemen, but you know how it is. I have to make sure that
You've got a lot going on there, Cathy.
I know it's a lot.
You're a technical whiz.
Well, I don't know about that, but I do have a lot going on. But you just kind of forget about it as you're doing it. Oh, trio! It's a trio record. Oh, she's playing piano. Is that right, Frederic? She plays really good piano. Meredith.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Good morning from Japan. Hello. Ohayo gozaimasu. How are you? So anyway.
Yeah. So it's exciting. It's nice.
Yeah.
Nice to be here.
Yeah. I can't believe you were here in June.
In June of last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did it seem longer?
It seems a longer time that you were away, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I was here for a couple of weeks, I think, when I was here last time. But yeah, it flew. It really flew for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but that was fun because I was in New York and then Virginia Beach, and then I came here, and then I went home from here. So
right.
It was a bit of a long trip, that one.
Yeah, it was. So I'm going to try and ask her questions that I think I may not have asked you before, or who knows, maybe I have asked you. So, Michelle.
Cathy.
Let me think. So you live basically in Melbourne.
Melbourne.
Yeah. And you sing, you teach, you create gigs.
Yeah, well, I mean, pretty much most musicians in Australia, I mean, unless you have management, which is there's only a handful of jazz musicians who would have management who take care of all that side of, you're hustling gigs. So, and I guess the venues, and it's kind of works that you would do a particular venue a certain amount of times a year, like on a semi-regular basis.
Yeah.
And try to also play in other cities like Sydney and
Festivals.
Festivals, yeah, there's not a lot of festivals.
There aren't?
Not really.
Yeah.
No. But that they do exist, but so yeah, I mean, I used to go to Sydney quite a lot actually years ago, but not recently because the cost of traveling is really high
really?
now.
Yeah.
That's a long way.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a 10-hour drive to Sydney.
Oh.
You know, it's a long way.
yeah.
Yeah. So, Perth, of course, go to Perth. I'm going there in June.
Yeah.
So maybe do that like once I went last year, but it'd been years.
Oh.
So it's kind of like a big country.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but kind of just organize my own gigs, and then I have a regular gig that I do every week.
For 17 years.
In July it'll be
17 years.
18 years I've been
Yeah.
doing that gig.
That's
And it's
amazing.
kind of funny because, you know, and at the start of the uni year, like we've just started our university year
Yeah.
because we start in March. And you always get a flurry of young jazz students who are then excited to go and see,
Yeah.
you know, their teachers play.
Yeah.
So the other night I played my Thursday gig and there was a whole bunch of uni students, like my new students. And I realized that's when I said, you know, this gig's going to be 18 years old. And I'm like, they're 18, 19 years old. You know? Like, it's like, I've been doing this gig as long as you're alive. And it's like a revelation to them. They can't, I mean, how can you imagine that?
Yeah.
But it's, so I have my regular gig, which is fantastic. Keeps me a lot, you know, keeps me going really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any downfalls to a steady gig.
No, you
Because,
can
yeah.
get bored. It can get stale.
Yeah. But if you're alert to that, like,
Yeah.
you know, changing music up and
Well, that's the thing. Like, basically, I have
is it the same band too?
no.
Okay.
So we did that for like 15 years until COVID. Really, it was the
Yeah.
same band. So it was myself, bass player, and a tenor player. So we don't have chords very often. It's usually just me, bass, and horn.
Uh-huh.
And then of course during COVID, that all stopped. I mean, you know, so we don't count COVID. We
Yeah,
don't count
yeah.
that because we had almost 2 years of lockdowns in
Yeah.
Australia. So we after we came back, the bass player who did that gig regularly, he actually decided he didn't want to play music anymore.
Wow.
And he's an absolutely amazing bass player, Cathy. Like, I mean, anyone
Wow.
he's amazing. Frank Desario's a shout out to you, Frank. I miss you.
I'm interested why he
Yeah,
why
I
he
don't
did
know.
that,
He has never really said why,
Oh,
but
yeah.
he just didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
He still teaches a bit, but he's going in another career path now.
Uh-huh.
So after he decided to not do it anymore, I kind of thought, all right, it's time for me to change it up. So then I started booking different people each week. But mostly it's the same bass player, my bass player, Tom, from my quartet. But the thing about that gig, which is really kind of unique, I guess, is that we only take requests.
That is unique.
So we do 2 sets of requests.
Is it all standards?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, every now and then you get someone requesting some, you know, death metal song or something, or some, you know, obscure pop song. But yeah, we do jazz standards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have to be,
cool, right?
I have to be on my toes, and generally, as I said, it's mostly without chords. Sometimes I have chords.
Yeah.
When I get back, my first gig back is 2 guitarists. In fact, that'll be the gig, and then I have sometimes 2 bass players.
Oh,
So that's fun.
that's cool.
But the thing is that everyone knows if you're doing that gig, you're playing requests.
Yeah.
So you've kind of got to know.
A lot of songs.
Yeah, and plus I have my book, which has got
Yeah.
hundreds of songs in
Yeah.
it. I try to discourage the use of iReel.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I never use it, but
Yeah.
I mean, and the charts aren't for me anyway, because I know the
Yeah,
songs, but
yeah.
either I know it or I don't.
Yeah. That would be one reason why I would schlep those books.
Yeah.
You know, if I had a gig like that,
Yeah.
because I have 600 songs in
That's
the book.
right.
And yeah.
Yeah, and it's and sometimes the book is there just to trigger. Like
Yeah.
if someone hasn't got a request in the audience, you think, okay,
Yeah.
what should we play? Oh, flicked. Oh, that's a
Yeah,
good tune.
yeah.
Oh no, I don't feel like doing that one. Whatever. But that's for the band. It's not for me. I don't use it. But yeah, that's kind of the best bit about that gig. And I think often when people come, they're kind of surprised, like, oh my gosh, how are you knowing all these songs. But you know, we all know loads of songs, don't we?
Yes,
But if we don't play them, we lose them.
Yes.
So the
Turn
only,
Out the Stars. I remember when I pulled that out again. It's like, oh yeah, Turn Out the Stars. I used to do it all the time.
and then you went, yeah, I know. If you don't do it, I know. I'm the same. I tried to do the Silent Wish a couple weeks ago. And I thought, oh, you know, I said da 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 da, which is a great song. But I thought, I can't. I have no idea how the bridge goes. You know, I just can't remember it. And no one, the band don't know that.
Yeah.
They need a chart for that.
Yeah.
So, but the only downside is that, you know, if you have a request gig, you know you're going to get a certain amount of the same requests every week.
Yeah.
You know. And there's a regular crowd and they have their songs. Like I know a particular person when they'll want that song, and you know, oh, you request something different tonight, are you okay? You know, like, so
And do you do them, like, let's just say it was Misty?
Yeah.
Would you just do it as a ballad, or will you
or
do
might
different
change it
things?
up?
Yeah.
But Misty, I mean, you're not going to turn it into a 7/8 funk, are you? I hope not.
I did it real slow, funky.
Yeah.
Real slow.
But not in 7/8.
No, not in 7/8 actually.
That would be sacrilege. But yeah, I mean, that's right, because, you know, sometimes also too, you know, like that thing of an audience and a vibe that's going on, you know, we work like, we like group mentality, don't we, as people, you know.
Yeah.
So if someone requests a ballad, someone else wants another ballad, then it's another ballad. It's like, come on, people. You know, let's have some. You got anything that's less depressing? So sometimes I'm kind of having to nudge. How about something a little bit cheerier? You know, or someone does request a Jobim song, and then all of a sudden it's like an entire set of Jobim because someone started that ball rolling. But
That's great.
That's the only downside to doing requests. Sometimes you have to, you know, because people only know so many songs.
Yeah.
You know, so you can guarantee there's certain songs that people would, I mean, you would know, like the songs that people would want to hear.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're the ones that you least want to sing.
Yeah. Fly Me to the Moon.
I like Fly Me to the Moon.
I can't quite get into it.
What about the verse? See, the verse makes it better.
I don't think I know the verse. How does it begin?
Oh, God. It goes, poets often use many a word to say a simple thing. It takes thought and rhyme and time to make a poem sing. I'll give it to you.
Pretty.
The music and words I have playing, for you I've written a song. To be sure that you know what I'm saying, I'll translate as I go along. And then fly me to the moon. Yeah.
Wow, that is
I transcribed
really pretty.
Blossom Dearie doing
Oh,
it.
really pretty.
So songs like that.
Yeah.
If you can find a way to keep them
Yeah.
interesting to you, like, so sometimes the verses are ways to kind of like re-kick the interest in the song.
Yeah.
And also, like, as an audience, like, they're not expecting you sing a verse.
Yeah.
They know that, you know, and
Yeah.
there's, as you know, there's loads of beautiful verses.
Yeah, there are.
So, but yeah, Fly Me to the Moon would be one. What's some other ones, Cathy, that you think people would request?
All the things you are.
No, that's too jazzy. The jazz nerds.
Night and Day.
Night and Day, totally. Yeah.
Our Love Is Here to Stay, or
Well, that again,
Someone to
that's
Watch Over Me.
someone to watch over me, definitely. Yeah.
As time goes by.
Not really, no. And you can tell, like, okay, you can pick the jazz nerds by their requests, and all the things you are might be one.
Yeah.
Joy Spring, oh my God, you know, that's going to be another, you know, they're going to pick the ones that you kind of are a workout, you know. And then you got your people who, they don't really know much about jazz, but they'll know a Nina Simone song. They just say Nina Simone, and all they want to hear is My Baby Just Cares For Me. They don't anything else, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So but anyway, that's what I do every Thursday night.
Yeah.
Normally.
That's great. And her husband is a drummer.
Yes.
And
He is.
whose name is not Nicole.
No, of course not. No. His name is Ronnie Farella. Yeah, so he's of Italian heritage. And yeah, he's a drummer and a composer. He runs his own bands. He also teaches at Melbourne University, where I teach as well. He takes a lot of improv. He's very involved in the improv music scene. and creative music stuff.
Yeah.
And he takes classes in it's a class called Free Play, where it's
I think we talked about that, right? Because of Stephen Nachmanovich's book.
That's right. So that's right. It's
Yeah.
all built around that. So he takes classes, and it's largely online,
Yeah.
where he's talking about different sorts of improvisation. And so, yeah, he's very much a community person in Melbourne. Like, everyone knows Ronnie. He creates opportunities for people to play, and he's very involved in the broader community of music and musicians. So yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah, and he lets me take these jaunts around the world. yeah, he lets me, I say.
Well, and they actually did take a jaunt earlier within the last year to Prague and Norway.
Oh yeah, we do travel together, and we've done a lot of touring together. Yes, but the fact that we're a couple too kind of makes it nice to travel and then pick up players. But we used to be able to travel as a band, but that's kind of hard now because of the costs of everything.
Yeah, it's changed quite a bit, hasn't
but we
it?
used to do quite a bit of European touring and touring around Asia and stuff as a quartet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have some questions.
Yeah.
Frederick, thank you, Frederick. That's very thoughtful for you to ask that, seeing that you won't be here. Interesting to know what will be the focus on for the workshop.
The focus will be probably on improvisation, just ways to tackle singing through changes. But I'll also just take what people want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's probably more important, just get a vibe.
Yeah.
But I usually like to start with a set tune like that we all do. That could be good too. I haven't fully thought about it yet, Cathy. It's still there. It's ticking away.
Spoken like a true jazz.
I'll make it up as I go along. No. We'll have a plan. Yeah. But improv, I think, like, improvisation is I enjoy that a lot. And I love I love singing songs, and I love, focusing on good vocal technique and all those things, and producing a good sound. But I think, there's not everyone is interested in improvisation or likes to teach it, and I enjoy both. So I kind of think that's something that people would get from me that they might not get from somebody else. Yeah.
Cool. And Taylor Hatch says hello.
Oh.
Do you remember him from UNT?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Michelle was at UNT some time ago. Oh, before he started there. But yeah, of course, you've worked with a bunch of people. Didn't you meet Michelle Taylor?
That sounds familiar, yes.
She's a big fan of Larry's. Throughout your process with the new record, what kind of narrative did you want to be the most important message for the project? How would you say it's different from previous ones?
Oh, so this is a record with Larry. When I was planning that, I honestly thought I wanted to kind of just have beautiful songs that I like to listen to and that have kind of shaped me, as a person, an appreciator of songs. So, and that, I guess, primarily comes firstly from the melody.
Yeah.
But then the lyric has to be strong.
Yeah.
So, but then there's a couple of tunes in there that, that there's one tune, for instance, that is like a teenage pop song for me. But I remember it being an important one because I remember thinking, I've never heard a pop song like that when I was,
Which song was that?
That's called I Hope I Never.
Oh, right.
Which is,
I love that
it's
one.
a song by a group
So good.
from New Zealand called Split Ends, which they did have like a career in America.
Yeah.
Like your husband, Gary, has one of their records.
Oh, okay.
And the one of the writers from that band went on to be Crowded House, which was a big, international success.
Yeah.
So, but that song was a big one for me as a young kid, like going, wow, how do you write a song like that?
Yeah.
So I've kind of picked songs that were important to me. I thought, because as a duo record, it's not really duo records are kind of a hard sell. I knew that. But then I also realized that some of my favorite records are actually duo records. You know, those
Yes.
Ella and Joe Pass. And,
Yes.
and I thought, well, what doesn't matter. I'm going to do a record that I would like to listen to if I was a young
Yeah.
jazz, you know,
Yeah.
sort of thing, kind
Yeah.
of different. Whereas everything else I've ever done has been with my band or with my band plus extra people. So it's just something different.
You do have another duo record coming out with the pianist.
I do.
Paul Grabowski.
Yeah, that's not known yet in Australia,
Ah.
but it doesn't matter who's
And
going to
I
get.
interviewed Paul, for those of you who watch the show a lot, about 2 months ago, I think.
Yeah.
He's a really good interview. He's a pianist, and he has kind of a love and almost like an a broad project for duos. Like
He does a lot of
did
duos, yeah.
A man who was a songwriter.
Paul Kelly, who is like Australia's Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
Like he's a very famous
Yeah.
songwriter.
That was pretty cool too.
Yeah, so this pianist's name is Paul Grabowski, and he was kind of a household name in the 90s, which is kind of unusual because jazz doesn't factor on any Australian's radar, really.
Yeah.
But it was because he was on a television show, which was a copy of the David Letterman show. It was a
Yeah.
nightly, late night show
Yeah.
based on Letterman.
Yeah.
And the house band,
Yeah.
which was based on the Paul Schaefer Orchestra.
Yeah.
Paul Grabowski was the pianist, and his name was also Paul. I don't think it was Bald also. But that band was fully stacked with all the great Australian jazz players.
yeah.
So, and you know, they would play jazz every night
Yeah.
on a TV show on mainstream television.
Yeah.
Which now you could never imagine, would never happen again.
Really?
Nah. But he was kind of very well known. So I remember growing up watching Paul and thinking, oh, wow, Paul Grabowski. So he, but yeah, and he's one of those sort of,
He's eclectic too. Pretty eclectic.
oh yeah. And also a super brain and a
Yeah.
super like composer. And it's, you know,
Yeah.
so yeah, but we've done an album together that we're mixing when I get back. Early April, we're mixing. And that is an album of, again, a duo album. So it's kind of weird I'm doing this.
I know.
But they're waiting for me because they knew I did this one with Larry. That's why they're
right.
waiting, because I thought
Right.
there's no point.
Yeah.
And that album is going to be all.
Sounds great.
It's going to be called Noir, and it's all really sad songs.
But yeah, I think
It's
it
all
sounds
about
great.
sad songs. Yeah.
But you know, I think we should play that. I think we should play that kind of PR thing that you did
There's a PR thing?
for you and Larry's. You know, not. I mean, for the Silent Wish,
Oh,
right?
did we do one?
Yeah, you know, didn't you?
I don't know.
Yes, you did. You
mean the bit of
you
the-
sent me?
Oh, you mean just a little bit of the studio?
Yeah, but
Ah.
I mean that was like a PR thing, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Come on,
I think you're making this up, Cathy.
seriously, that was not a PR thing.
What do you mean? Was it the video of us?
Yeah, there was a video. You spoke. There was music in the background.
I think no, I don't remember that.
Oh, come on.
No.
Seriously?
Me talking?
Yeah, you said you talked about the project. You sang. Well, maybe you didn't talk. Maybe you just sang.
I don't remember.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No. I'm sure it's
This is so weird.
that is weird. I mean, I did have footage of us in the studio on like little clips. No, that's no.
Yeah.
I don't know. We haven't done any of that.
Now, where would I have put this? I'm going to just look for this.
Otherwise, you could play a track.
Yes, I would. I would play a track, but I thought this might be pretty cool. Wait, would it be? I think it would be under movies. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but I am looking for it. Michelle Nicolle, are you here? Not there. Let me search for you. Michelle Nicolle. Nope. Well, wherever it is, it's somewhere, but apparently it's not showing up. So I am going to play a cut from the record, which, hold on there.
Yeah, we didn't get any full footage of a whole song in the studio, so
when I show you later, you're going to go, oh, that. Okay, that's not. I'm looking for you. You know, I wanted it to play without stopping, and sometimes Facebook stops me. Are you on Spotify as well?
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
So I'll just go to Spotify and Michelle Nicolle.
Yes, Spotify.
Well, artist. And When Your Lover Is Gone, My One and Only Love, Why
So
There Is
the
You.
whole album is down there.
I'm going to show you guys the album because why not? Here we go, The Silent Wish. So this is a preview of what you will get if you're in LA and you want to come to the CD
Launch.
launch release party.
Yeah.
Sunday, March 30th for brunch at Olak/Bar Fedora downtown near Disney Hall. Which song would you like to?
Well, maybe should we do that? I Hope I Never.
Sure.
Do you think?
Do you want to say anything about this song?
Oh, well, it's not a jazz tune, but I mean, what does that mean, really? You know, it's a beautiful crafted song, and
And you're two jazz people.
yeah, we're two jazz people. But I love what Larry does, and he did some beautiful, like 2 guitars, I think, on this track.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so here we go. Yeah, I like this one. Yeah.
I fall apart when you're around. When you're here, I'm nowhere. I can't pretend that I'm not down. I show it, I know it. I've been a fool more than once, more than twice. I'm gonna move to a new town where the people are nice. I hope I never have to cry again. I hope I never have to sigh again. I still want to beam and smile. Happiness is back in style. I hope I never have to see you again. Oh, it should be possible, I know, to see you without stress, but I can see I'll have to go. I'm changing my address, my urge to cry I fail to conceal. Life, it's no fun when you're haunted by the things that you feel. I hope I never have to cry again. I hope I never have to sigh again. I'm for living while you can. I'm at my again.
Beautiful. It's great. As a singer, I love to hear Michelle for a number of reasons, but one reason is her instrument is really good. And also it's like sometimes she's strong, and then sometimes she has just the perfect amount of air in the sound, and it's more intimate, you know. And yeah, it's really quite satisfying to hear. It's great.
Thanks, Cathy.
Yeah, it's really wonderful. And Larry, that last chord was
I know,
gorgeous.
because it does finish da 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 da, bo do do de. It does normally finish on a major chord.
Yeah,
But he made it minor, which is kind of cool.
and the tone that he
We
used
didn't
was
talk
great,
about. We didn't really decide that either. He just, yeah.
because he's Larry.
No, he came back and said, actually, you know what? I think it needs to be something else. I'm going to try something. Yeah.
Let me just say something to Larry, because he just texted me because I told him that you were on.
Ah, oh
If
no.
you
Well, he knows we're
want
talking
to
about him.
join, you can.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that.
Or not.
Has a different, keeps the quality of the sadness of the song.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see, we have a bunch of new comments, and Eric Leboucher Radigue is on. Nice nines and nice tunes. Thank you. And Frederick says, very nice. Taylor has a bunch, Joyce Glasgow, hi. You left a couple of contents so far on your YouTube, on Michelle's YouTube stream today, probably. Joyce Glasgow, she's in Seattle.
Oh,
area.
good day, Joyce.
I like this though. Let's see. Taylor, that's an interesting question. I'm going to ask you this. I'm sure you'd think pretty openly about this, but in what ways do you think an artist should consider for how they should look, feel, and sound? It's an interesting question.
How they should look.
Yeah, look, feel, and sound. I mean, that's kind of everything.
Yeah.
As a singer,
How do you?
know.
Well, you can only be yourself, can't you? Like, I can only be myself, so I look the way I look. There's not much I can do about it. Although we did see a nice picture the other day, that chap that was showing us pictures he'd taken of Oprah Winfrey, remember? The photographer?
Yes.
And they'd taken pictures of Oprah Winfrey in this beautiful flowing purple gown. And I said, wow, maybe he could superimpose my head onto that and I'd be happy with that. But the way you look, feel and sound, I just think you've just got to be yourself. I mean, like as a female doing, jazz gigs, it's always a thing that, it still bugs me that, I can't rock up at a gig in what a bloke would wear. I can't just rock up in an unironed shirt and
Yes.
I can't. I mean, I could. I suppose I could, but I'm pretty sure I wouldn't get the gigs. And even when you think, when I was younger, it used to be really bug me more. I think, when you'd get people saying to you, can you please wear makeup or wear more makeup, or can you please show more cleavage? Getting band leaders, like when I used to sing with big bands and stuff.
Yeah.
Can you wear something that has more with more tits and ass basically, and more sparkles and now I don't care about that, and no one's saying that to me anymore, because once you reach a certain age, people don't care because you're basically invisible anyway.
Yeah.
So then, which is a sad fact, and it doesn't happen to men in the same way. But women have to always present to themselves to look a certain level of presentation.
Yeah, over the years, there's been lots of discussion, on various levels, that jazz musicians should look presentable, and probably the older black musicians really had a thing about it. You know, they wanted you to wear a suit.
A suit.
You know, something that really looked nice. I don't think the look, but it's interesting. The reason I'm interested in this question is how they should feel and sound. That's a pretty wide question, you know.
Well, how you should feel and sound, I feel like you can only just be yourself and feel like yourself. I want to feel comfortable, so therefore I want to be sure of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I want to be in a good position, like with the people I'm playing with.
Yeah.
I want that to be no tension. I want to get on well with the people I'm playing.
Yeah.
So I want to feel comfortable with that. I want to feel like when I step onto the stage or whatever in the room to play, that I know my stuff and that I'm just going to be honest and,
Yeah.
you know, so, I mean, and look, it doesn't always happen.
No.
And sometimes you're doing gigs where you're battling, you
Yeah.
know, you might have an asshole in the audience or the person that runs the club is an asshole and they, you know, and you're already going, oh, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
I mean, it happens to me less and less now, but I just want to feel comfortable because otherwise I can't be honest in the music
Yeah.
if I'm, you know, fighting all those things. If you've got other stuff going on in your head.
And the sound too. The sound
The
is so
sound.
important.
So you mean the physical, the room sound? Or,
I guess, or
yeah. Well, I want
the room sound, and also your own sound.
Oh,
is
your own
almost like
sound. Well, your own sound, I guess you've got to kind of feel comfortable with as well, and know that it fluctuates.
Yeah.
Like I'm a big hay fever sufferer, so like my voice, I can hear it now just because of the pollen in the air, and we've been outdoors, and you know, it changes. But that within I know the range at which it's going to, you know, I know where the parameters are.
Yeah.
And unless it's like I'm unwell, I know what I can work with within, even on a bad hay fever day or a not feeling great day. I know there's a certain amount of voice and range and capability that's going to serve me, and it's going to be there. And so it's, I mean, sometimes that's diminished by being unwell.
Yes.
But if you've got stress, like on top of that, then that's going to diminish it as well. So you want to just get rid of all that.
Yeah.
And sound, you know, you're going with your instrument, but sometimes you're battling a really terrible PA system.
Yeah.
Or people are playing too loud.
Yeah.
Or I mean, I don't have that too much, but every now and then, you just, the PA's not working.
Yeah.
Even a room even like the gig I do every Thursday, sometimes the band that's been there the night before have muddled with all the EQ, and then you get there and it's like, oh, this sounds like shit.
Yeah.
And, you know, so it changes the way you've done the gig a million times.
Yeah.
So I think if you can hear yourself, though, I can cope with. If I can hear myself and I know I'm not going to be damaging my voice by trying to push beyond something, then it's okay. Sometimes you know it's not sounding the best.
Yeah. We talk about this a lot because, you know, the singing instrument is challenging because it's your body. You're tired, you have hay fever, you're whatever, even minimal stress can actually make you push or, you know, not like kind of lose your mind of that this instrument is actually an instrument and it has to work. And so, there's so many different things about the voice that...
And also the contrary too, like if you're having a great day, you know, or you're just in a good mood and or someone's told you a really funny joke or, you know, you see someone that you haven't seen for a long time, it's like, oh, this is great. I could be sounding like shit, but I'm having a great time. And so therefore the music flows. And it's just so variable. Yeah. But I just think being comfortable in yourself as a person makes a huge difference, doesn't it? Like, and that's what I love about getting older is that's like that I feel much more... that it doesn't fluctuate so much. I feel much more steady with that. Yeah. And also you don't care as much. Yeah. What other people think. Yeah. You know, which is good.
Which is great.
It is good.
We were talking about that today earlier about age, you know. So I'm 71. So my friend was saying, did you feel different when you turned 70? Not really. When I turned 60, I changed because my friend who was a drummer who was older than me, Gene Stone, he said, when you turn 60, you don't care. anymore. It's like you can, you know, you have all this freedom. You can do whatever you want, think whatever you want, say whatever you want. And I actually did feel differently when I turned 60.
Yeah, right.
It was cool.
Yep.
But then I still had to grow. Every year that passed, I still had to grow more and more.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think, don't we want to keep growing all the time? I mean, and changing. You're always evolving. You hope. Yeah. But
Some people don't hope.
They don't?
No, I won't mention anybody, but there's somebody who we all know that doesn't care about changing or growing.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I just think you
We
can't.
won't talk about it.
I don't know that you can't not change though, because I mean,
you
unless
have to change, but
because
I think,
everything that's moving around you is moving around you, so it's changing the way, you know, like you can't stop everything around you moving and circumstances changing and people coming into your life and.
Yeah, but I think that some people don't think about their personal involvement with growth. You know, they see things changing around, but I don't think necessarily that everybody takes it kind of personally. It's like, this is my perspective and I'm growing, I'm changing, or I have to grow, or something has to change. I just don't think everybody thinks like that.
No, maybe you're right, yeah.
Yeah. It's very cheerful.
I'm just so cheerful. No, I'm not. I'm actually not. Like people who really know me know I'm actually the half glass empty person.
You are?
In the room. Oh
Come
yeah.
on.
No, I am.
Really?
Yeah.
Somehow I can't see that.
No, well it's true.
Yeah.
I'm the pessimist.
Wow. Well, you smile a lot. So
I smile a lot.
that's,
It's all fake. I've actually got a song. I've actually got a song that I wrote called "Drop the Smile," and it's all about that. Just pretending to be that person who's like happy all the time. I mean, I'm not going to pretend I'm happy all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I always see So I guess I surround myself with people then, Cathy, who are positive.
Yeah.
Because left to my own devices.
Yeah.
I would probably just become a hermit and be in my little mosaic shed, smashing things. Honestly, yeah. But music it's hard. It is hard to be.
Yeah.
In the music side of things and playing music, I don't feel that negativity.
You're right.
No, I don't. I love it.
Yeah.
I do. So of course, but
well, I totally get what you mean. I consider myself a half full.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's because when I think about it, it's because possibilities show themselves to me, and instead of me going, oh, that'll never work, I naturally go, how can I make that work?
Yeah, but that's the you. I would be like, well, that's never going to work. Absolutely. If my husband was watching this now, he'd be going, yeah, totally. And my daughter and my husband have this little thing where they laugh at me because as soon as you start talking about plans, like planning ahead, like even a month ahead, and they're talking about something, oh, we should do this, or, I just start shutting down and going, oh, God, don't make me think of the future because that's too hard. So they always tease me about that. So even though and that's part of the reason why I'm doing these projects, like coming and seeing you and doing a record overseas and stuff. It's about trying to create, be myself, like on my own, doing things, creating things that happen, to give me that stuff to look forward to in the future. Because I would be just naturally that sort of person that would. Well, maybe I'm not, but I feel like I am that person who would go, oh, that seems too hard. So I have to force myself to do it. And then, of course, once the momentum starts, you're literally going, well, it's too late now. I have to do it.
Well, I really don't see you as that.
No, seriously, I got on the plane. I'm going, I'm on the plane now. I guess I have to go. People were saying to me leading up to this trip, oh, you must be really excited. You got this new record. Yeah, I am excited about the new record. You must be excited. It's like, yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, but I think you're more excited than I am. So I find I have to. I definitely use other people's energy to feed mine.
And I have to say something though about what you just said. So because people many times will say to me, oh my God, whatever. They're responding to something I'm doing or planning on doing, and their response is way over the top. It's like...
Yeah, but this is America.
Well, no, but I mean, they're getting a visceral, personal thrill, almost subjective, It's like, but this kind of goes into other areas, but that doesn't surprise me so much because, and we see this a lot because people are affected by, just simply people are affected by us singing a song in front of them, right?
I know.
Their whole persona, their whole history gets kind of restimulated in a good or bad way or whatever. So that part doesn't surprise me, but it's interesting. I know what I think is, like, people always say, oh, you're so busy, how do you do it? And to me, I don't even think like that. But I get it that their beingness, their activity during the day or every day is a different activity. It's not so self-driven. It's not responding to the muse, And so when they see somebody doing that, it's like, wow, it's impressive. But but like you were saying, when somebody says, oh my God, it's, to us, it's like, well,
what else am I going to do?
The reason, right. We're
That's
doing
right.
it. Yeah,
I have to do that because, and like when people say, "Oh, it's great," and and I have people ask me, "Well, who's organising that for you?" And I'd say, "Well, I've got my friend Cathy, but otherwise I'm organising." It's like, wow, that's amazing. It's like, well, but what else? If I just sit here, I won't do anything. It has to be done. Someone's going to. Do you want to do it? I'll pay you. I'll pay you to do it. But yeah, it is. Yeah, that is an interesting thing. But I guess, I'm sounding like I am contradicting myself in some ways, aren't I? Because I'm saying I'm not motivated, but at other times I am clearly motivated.
Yeah, but we all go through like, oh my God, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I don't really want to do this. I don't want to go on the road. I don't even want to go to the gig tonight, or whatever.
Yeah.
We all go through that.
Yeah.
Because, we have all these emotions and they fluctuate.
But then once you're there,
it's
like gigs, I find that a lot.
Yeah,
it's once I'm there, I'm totally in it, and the idea of it, often, and so I guess all those factors, I can't control them. So,
and we were talking too about like the fact that like a lot of people our age and older and whatever they're actually speaking about not wanting to be so busy. They're speaking about this as a kind of a real perspective that they're grabbing onto. It's like, I don't want to go to the gig tonight, or I don't want to plan more than one gig in a month, or what, because whatever, they're tired, or
maybe they don't need to because they feel like they've achieved what they've wanted to do.
That's true too. Maybe like that bass player you were talking about.
Yeah, he just decided I've had enough of doing that.
Yeah.
And every instrument has a different, I guess a bass player is the ultimate to me, like, and the joke, like, oh, you want to play jazz? Well, be a bass player because you'll always have a gig.
Yeah.
Because, if you're a good bass player, you'll never
You're
not
always
work.
working, yeah.
So, but in that becomes like a bit of a thing where you're always working. And it's not necessarily what you want to be doing.
Yes.
And often then that creates a sort of environment where you have to keep working in order to keep up your lifestyle.
Yeah.
And so therefore maybe the art sort of projects you want to do or the music you really want to play, you can't play because you don't have time.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get paid.
Right.
So that sort of becomes a thing. But I've noticed that a lot of, Ronnie, my husband and I have both noticed this, a lot of young musicians now, and because we both teach at the unis, there's a lot of young musicians who have been out of uni for a little while are kind of not playing much because they're kind of going, well, it's too hard. So they're having so when they're choosing other career paths and keeping their toe in the water for music, but only doing projects that they want to do.
Yeah.
And will obviously not make much money.
Yeah.
But at the same time, not really being that energized to promote it or get people there. It's like they're kind of just happy to do it. And they're not that worried if no one's there.
Yeah.
And I think that sounds so depressing, but it's actually, but we've really noticed it because,
Interesting.
because it's so hard.
Yeah.
It is so hard to get people to
come out
and to pay money.
Yeah.
And everything, of course, the cost of living is so high.
Yeah.
So anytime you go out, it's a very expensive night, and people don't have that sort of disposable income. So it is hard.
Yeah.
It's much harder now for young musicians than when I started out.
Yeah.
And the fact that, when I started out, when I was 20, 21, doing gigs, if you, like, I'm sure we've talked about this before, but like, if, a gig was like $150.
Yeah.
And you'd go, oh, $150. $150 then was a lot, compared to now, that's like breakfast.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But now $150 is still this kind of like standard pay.
Yeah.
And that's like 30 something years later.
Yeah.
And
It's really silly.
That's depressing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know what you can do about that other than just go, well,
Inch your way up.
I just love it because I love it. I know I'm not going to make money.
Yeah.
And if I wasn't, I feel very lucky because I can do it and because I have another, teaching is a way of making me be able to do other things. Like be able to come to America and record an album. And if I didn't teach, I wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah.
So I am very lucky.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And most musicians, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
I spoke to somebody, he said he worked with some higher level artists, higher notoriety. Mm-hmm. And he said those kind of artists are above this line and everybody else is below it.
Yeah.
And that was good. It's like a real point of view. It's like, the notoriety that big marketing creates. Yeah, those people are doing gigs, making money, blah, blah, blah. And then the rest of us are just being creative about how that all happens, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see. Taylor has a lot of great questions. This is a good one. Vocally throughout your perspectives, what have you found to be technically helpful for you when it comes to bringing out newer qualities in your voice?
Newer qualities in my voice. I don't know that I think that's just a very organic. I haven't deliberately tried to bring out newer qualities.
Yeah.
I think that's just aging and like hopefully a maturing of the voice. Because I still think, even listening to that track before, I still think, oh my God, I still sound 14. So every now and then I get a glimpse of, that sounds like a woman now. Finally. But I haven't deliberately, I think I've just worked on, over the years, just maintaining good vocal technique, maintaining my range and vocal health.
Yeah.
But I'm not, you already know, because I've been here for a couple of days now. I haven't, I'm not one of these people that will not eat dairy I just had a bunch of brie before we came. Yeah. I don't kind of worry about any of that stuff. I don't do a lot of practice, to be honest. I have to say that because my husband could be watching and he might just say, are you kidding? She never practices. I practiced before.
But you teach a lot, and in a way that is practice.
So during teaching term, like my voice gets much fitter because I'm constantly singing. Yeah. But I know if I've got a gig that I have to warm up. I have to warm up properly. Absolutely. Yeah. So I think it's maintaining my vocal health and knowing the limitations. I know there's certain things I can't do and I'm never going to try. And maybe musically they don't interest me vocally. I'm not a belter, for instance. Yeah. And technically I know how to belt, but it's like it's not me. Yeah. And the music I'm doing doesn't require it. Yeah. Yeah. So it's basically classically based technique, and I still go back and do that sort of technique work. So, but then. Yeah, so it's really keeping check on my instrument, but I don't know that I'm actively seeking new sounds. I think I'm trying to be me, really. Yeah, I'm just trying to sound like an extension of me. Yeah, talking to you.
Yeah.
So I'm deliberately trying not to impose a
Yeah.
sound.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're singing classical repertoire, and then of course you're adopting a sound.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because that's not my speaking voice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting. It's interesting, I think, especially being a singer, but of course with any instrument, it's the more personal expression you can make, usually I think the better the technique comes out, and also it's more interesting for the listener, you know, and
People want to hear
obviously
you
for
be
the
real,
artist.
don't you?
Yeah.
I think they want to hear you be real.
Yeah, I think so too.
And like if I think about the singers who I'm really drawn to, they are the singers who, you know, I hear
Who are
two
real.
notes,
Yeah.
I know who it is straight away.
Yep.
So because I hear, like if they were saying, you know, standing in the hallway, I'd be able to pick who they were,
Yeah.
you know, like by the sound of their voice, like
Yeah.
you know who they are. It's straight away. It identifies them to you, and those singers that I'm attracted to aren't necessarily like the pristine,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah, they might not even have that great a technique.
Yeah.
But who cares? I don't care. But of course, I do love the great, you know, the ones that do, like Ella
Yeah.
and Sarah. But again, they're immediately recognizable.
Yeah.
So yeah, technique. I just think it's like being real.
Yeah.
It's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Which is hard when you know, it takes a while to know what your real is.
I know. Isn't that,
Yeah,
that's just, it's a little, I mean, that goes down a lot of rabbit holes.
it does. But I
But
think, if I like, especially with young students and stuff, like I'm trying to get them to find their honest sound.
Yeah.
But also like the best part of their honest sound.
Yeah.
So when, you know, because if you're talking about shape of sound and vowels and stuff like that and pronunciation and stuff, you know, I kind of have a spectrum. Like I say, you know, okay, I want you to go full Mary Poppins on me, or Missy Higgins. Now, Missy Higgins, you might not know, but she's an Australian singer-songwriter, quite famous, very, very famous. And she sings with a real broad Australian accent. So she'll sing all of me, why not take all of me? Can't you see I'm no good without you? You know, she'd sing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, and not, she doesn't sing jazz, by the way.
Yeah,
She'd sing, but if she did, so that's kind of like one end of the spectrum. So I sort of think, like, I kind of encourage my students, okay, we want you to be real,
Yeah.
but somewhere in the middle. So we're still rounding things off. We're still trying to produce a good sound,
Yeah.
and we're trying to, like, also not sing with an American accent.
Yeah.
But not sing with an English. Try to make it sound like you, but not full.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Find the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what you're trying to do. And of course, but as young musicians, we're sponges,
Yeah.
which is great.
Yeah.
You need to be listening and like going, oh, I'm going to try this. And of course, you got to try things out.
Yeah.
So finding that real honesty in your sound, it takes a long time.
Yeah.
You know, and we can all, I'm sure we've talked about this before, Cathy, but we can all, as singers, we can all impersonate.
Yes.
You know, we can, because if we have a good ear and we've got the instrument, we can kind of like imitate a lot of different singers.
Yeah.
So for me, like, I can do a really good Sarah Vaughan impersonation.
Yeah.
It's not going to say it's good as, you know,
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
it's not Sarah Vaughan, so it's not
Right.
good. I can do a really good Billy. I can do quite a few, but it's like, I wouldn't do that on a gig.
Yeah.
Why would I do that? But when I hear people kind of, you know, putting on a sound,
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't get it.
There's even singers nowadays who they put on a sound, but they're not being somebody else, but they're being what they think is impressive. Mm-hmm. You know, and I don't like that either.
No.
You know, it's just like, I'd rather hear you do a mistake or, you know,
Yeah.
whatever, and see how you come back from it, you know,
Yeah.
rather than be totally perfect. I'm just not interested in total
Yeah.
perfection.
Well, me too.
Yeah.
And there's also fashions, isn't
Yes.
there, within
Mhm.
sound.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, in every instrument, I imagine.
Yeah.
You know, if you
Yeah.
think, you know, horn players, like there's, you know, styles of vibrato and styles of placement. You know, in jazz, of course, there's different styles that we can kind of hone in on. But in the pop world, there's there's really distinctive fashions.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and so, you know, to the untrained ear like myself, when I hear modern pop music, which my daughter listens to, and I say, who's this? And she'll say, oh my God, can't you tell that's blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, because it sounds exactly like the one you just played before, who is somebody else. Because to me, they sound the same.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of using that fashionable sound.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying. Yes.
So, but to her, she knows. But yeah, you have to be trained to it.
Yeah.
So obviously, I know I can pick jazz stuff, but a lot of pop stuff now, I don't think, I don't listen to it. So
yeah. Let's see. Yes, you are a naturally crazy person with a big brain. Okay, so
that's you. That's definitely you, isn't it? Yeah.
No, it
Not
was,
me.
It was Taylor, but let's see. I'm just looking over your questions. He's listed a lot of questions.
Wow.
Well, there's a lot of things like what we were talking about. I mean, I'm just going to tell you a few of these questions.
Okay.
Maybe you might pick one out. So here's one. What kind of introspective things do you remind yourself of to keep your inner artistic peace with yourself? It's a good one. You touched on this a bit, but expanding more, do you have any thoughts about where the arts are going when it comes to artists presenting full expression of themselves? And which way could individuals emphasize more about creative inclusion? Do you have any thoughts on how you deal with discouragement and anything? More asking out of curiosity. And
there's
Joyce,
a lot of questions. Okay,
I
you know, they've all gone.
Now, I'm going to just put Joyce's question in. Hi, Michelle. I met you briefly online when I sang for your jazz voice masterclass a few years ago.
G'day, Joyce. Yes, I
You're
remember.
a great teacher and very supportive. I recommend anyone to take your live class
that's
when you're
nice.
in the U.S. And then Taylor's last question, regarding teaching, what qualities do you find the most essential and organic to giving the students an open gateway to find creative expression? Personally, I like that first question. It was, I like what kind, and it's the shorter question. What kinds of introspective things do you remind yourself of to keep your inner artistic peace with yourself? It's nice, isn't it?
It is nice. What's it? Introspective? I mean, I'm often reminding myself, like what we were saying before about the positivity and, you know, my tendency to be negative, that it's that what I do, most people would, well, a lot of people, when you have people say to you, oh my gosh, I wish I could do that.
Yes.
You know, I remind myself of that a lot. It's like, I could be, you know, this is my job, and how freaking lucky am I to do that? So I remind myself of that quite a lot, that actually, you know what, for all the negative stuff, like there's much more positive. And what an amazing thing to be able to do for your life, you know, in your life. Yeah. And like you said too, like when you're performing, even though you might be thinking, oh, this isn't going great, or I'm not having, you know, I'm not singing well tonight, or I'm not really, you're affecting somebody in the audience in a really positive way. Yeah. And you know, like, I never take that for granted. Yeah. And you know, and often people will tell you that, you know, and so that means a lot to me. So when I'm feeling kind of I need to remind myself of why I'm doing it, and to keep the creative juices going. I actually think, you know what, this is pretty cool that I can do this. And not everyone can. Yeah. You know, and it reminds me, like, when our daughter was kind of little, I mean, she's incredibly musical. She doesn't do music anymore, but she's crazily good at music. I remember one time she was kind of just out of the blue teaching herself guitar. Just, you know, I mean, I taught myself guitar. Most people teach themselves guitar. Yeah. I think Larry's still teaching himself. He's only a beginner. Don't tell him. But, you know, she was kind of teaching herself guitar. And I don't think she's got perfect pitch, but she's got really good from playing the violin like me. But she was doing something, and I don't know, she had a spit about something, and I said, you know what you're doing there, most people can't do. She's going, oh my God, this is so easy. It's going, it's actually easy for you.
Yes.
It's easy for me, but like, it's not that easy.
Yes.
Some people will work for a year to be able to play those 3 chords.
Yeah.
And make it sound like music.
Yeah.
And you've just done it like that in 10 minutes without having any, like, we never said, hey, here's a guitar.
Yeah.
She just found a guitar and started playing it. Like, you know, and I was like that as a kid as well. And so I reminded that, you know, every now and then I just have to think about how lucky that is. And whether that's a talent, you know, that's, I mean, I'm not a believer in God or anything like that, whether it's a blessing or it's a talent. I think it's something I can do that not everyone can do. And I should remember that, you know, should feel really lucky.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you see it in your students, you know, you see people who, you know, straight away, they've got something that's
Special.
it's very special. And then others that work really, really hard and they're never going to get that thing.
Yeah.
You know, but it doesn't stop you trying to encourage. I mean, of course, I've never stopped me encouraging them. Yeah. But it's a struggle. Yeah. You know, so for someone who's never really struggled with music, I mean, to be really perfectly honest, I mean, singing is kind of really easy compared to playing the violin, which is how I started. Singing's pretty easy for me. Yeah. But you know what? I know it's not easy for everybody. Yeah. And of course, then I look at other people and go, oh my God, they make it look so easy. I want to be able to do what they can do, and I can't. You know, it's all like relative. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm still getting my mind blown by when I see people, you know, and go, far out. How do they do that? Of course, but I'm saying that, you know, for me, it's never been a struggle. Yeah. So I should remember that, and I should also know that it's a privileged thing to be able to call myself a creative person, and I should appreciate that, because other people do much more than I do sometimes. They appreciate what we do. Yes. You know.
Yes, that's true.
And for me, sometimes I feel like it's a job, but I know it's not. Of course I know it's not, but sometimes I treat it like a job.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's the like we were saying before, the outside things that we have to do. I mean, the reason why I create gigs is mostly because I like the feeling of singing with people. Yeah. And where am I going to get that? Yeah. Unless I create a gig.
Unless you make it happen.
Yeah. So,
totally. Yeah. Yeah. I feel you.
Yeah. Let's listen again.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh. This was asked to me a while back, but do artists have moral obligations? I want you to think about that.
Yeah, I'm going to think on that.
And we're going to do another Spotify for this record. So I'm going to repeat that. Obviously, Michelle is in LA, and for 2 weeks, but she's going to San Francisco Thursday for a few days to sing at the Black Cat, and in San Diego the following week to sing at the Jazz Lounge, and who's, by the way, owner and singer Leonard Hatton is a really good singer, and he actually Thursday night is going to be singing at the LA Athletics Club, for those of you who know that club, with David Ross. So he's a really good singer.
He's a great singer. Yeah.
And also, so Monday, this coming Monday, the 24th, Michelle is going to be giving a workshop at my house in the evening, a vocal workshop. And then the following Sunday, which is March 30th, she and Larry are going to be doing a CD release party, brunch, at Bar Fedora, which is inside this really good Thai vegan restaurant called O Lak. That is literally across from Disney Hall downtown. So that's going to be like, the show will be 1 to 2:30, and the doors open at 12, and the food is really good. Let's see. How about, what are you doing the rest of your life?
Sure.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
What are you doing north and south and east and west of your life. I have only one request of your life, that you spend it all with me. All the seasons and the times of your days, all the nickels and the dimes of your days. Let the reasons and the rhymes of your days all begin and end with me. I want to see your face in every kind of light, in fields of dawn and forests of the night. And when you stand before the candles on a cake, oh, let me be the one to hear the silent wish you make. Those tomorrows waiting deep in your eyes, in the world of love you keep in your eyes. I'll awaken what's asleep in your eyes. It may take a kiss or two, through all of my life, summer, winter, spring, and fall of my life. All I ever will recall of my life is all of my life with you.
Gorgeous.
Oh, that's torture. It is dangerous.
Were you crying?
I
at the
was
end?
crying at the
Yeah.
end. It still makes me I'm so embarrassed by that.
Oh, I don't think you need to be embarrassed. I think it's, it's touching. It's what it is.
But it's kind of weird.
I cried on one song that I sang on a record, but it was about my sister, and I
Yeah.
dedicated the whole record to my sister. She had died like kind of recently, and it was "Good Night, Sweetheart," and
And you sang in you played me that. That's incredible.
I put the song with my sisters like that we had recorded on a tape, and I put that on, and then I sang with Ross Tompkins, and then by the end I was like, oh, okay, but Brazilians would do that.
Would they?
Elise Regina did that she laughed. She and Jobim sang Waters of March. Do you remember that recording?
Oh, yes.
And they started laughing, and you could hear them start smiling.
Yeah.
And then they started laughing and
Yeah.
playing. That may have never happened in America. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay.
This beautiful moment to capture.
Yeah.
So I think that was beautiful. It was just wow.
Yeah, laugh. You can tell when someone's laughing too, and you can tell when someone's crying. I always remembered that record. I don't know if it's okay to talk about Michael Jackson. Anyway.
I guess so.
But I remember that record. She's out of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. she's out of my life. You know, and his voice is going, and he's crying. You know, and I can't listen to that without crying, even though let's not talk about Michael Jackson. But yeah, yeah, well, I remember it, and we just said, oh, well, that's fine. And that was, I think we only did a couple takes of that one. I don't remember. Yeah. Maybe we did 2 takes. And
that's so beautiful.
Yeah, but I mean, with a song like that, that's, yeah, you can't go wrong with a song like that.
Yeah, yeah.
No. And just once through, you know.
Yeah.
So you don't do that very often in a jazz gig. You know, you just don't. That's something you're only going to do on a record.
Yeah.
You know, like just sing something once through.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a nice thing.
It's beautiful. Well, I know Joyce. She said, I love the emotion and storytelling you put into the singing.
Thank you, Joyce.
Oh, and Taylor might see you at the Black Cat on Thursday.
Oh, cool. So say g'day.
Yeah. He's got a split like a banana. Very cute, Taylor. Well, we can just about end too. I just after I have to give credit to my husband.
Yeah, we better.
I just don't know why I didn't think of it myself. But anyway, after Gary said, "Are you going to have Michelle on your noontime hang?" and I was like, yes, I am.
Yeah.
You know, so even though it wasn't noontime, still, you know.
Afternoon time.
Yeah, afternoon time.
Afternoon.
Cathy Segal-Garcia's afternoon.
You could call it hang. Cathy Segal-Garcia's Arvo hang.
Arvo.
Arvo. So, Arvo is afternoon. If you didn't know. Yeah.
So anyway, we're having a good time while she's here, and we're going to have a good workshop. And we're going to have a good gig. Hi, Alvin. Hello. Alvin, I hope you had a great gig. Believe me, I wanted to come, but I had to do something, and I had Michelle here with me for the Altadena event that was promoting this organization that's giving back to the community. So I had to do that. Sorry I missed your gig, Alvin. And I'm going to mention too a few things. One thing is that this group, the Goodness Tour, they came to Altadena. They travel around the world a few times a year to help in traumatic situations. And so in Altadena, for a week, they worked on writing songs with everybody, not just musicians and the community, and then they made a mural. And this week they were actually in Pacific Palisades doing the same thing. So if you have any friends who are from the Palisades who might want to be involved with a community gathering, inspirational, let me know and I can direct you to them. And then Friday, well, Michelle is going to be up in San Francisco Thursday, Friday, and Saturday doing a gig at the Black Cat with Larry. I am Friday going to have a singer from New York. Some of you may know Sashal Vasandani, who's a good singer, and he's been working on modern jazz singing for a long, long time. So he's on Friday. Saturday, for those of you in LA, I have a morning breakfast gig, Chinkies in Santa Monica, 2nd and Broadway, right downtown. And it's real fun, 9:30 to 1. I have Dory Amarillo and Joey De Leon, and it's just fun. It's nice, no cover. It's just a breakfast place. It's fun. And then one more thing I wanted to tell you about, which was, well, Michelle's giving a workshop Monday here in the evening, and then the following Sunday, she and Larry will be doing a brunch downtown LA. Let me know if you're interested in coming, and I'll give you the information. Thank you, Joyce. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you. Thanks. Nice to see you all.
Do you want to say anything else?
Thank you for tuning in. And, of course, the wonderful Cathy Segal-Garcia, who, you guys are very lucky to know her. I'm very lucky to know you. Thank you, Cathy, for asking me.
You're welcome,
And
Michelle.
thanks, Gary. Thanks.
Yeah. More importantly.
Yeah.
Okay.